topic for today's presentation is the geopolitics of the Dalai Lama's reincarnation, traditions, politics, and the future of Tibetan Buddhism. I'm not going to talk about the profound theological aspects of this. I'm going to talk about the geopolitics associated with this subject, which is very controversial. I take permission from all of you to speak about this. I don't possess the knowledge of a geshe, or most of you are here, about the Tibetan Buddhism, so pardon me if I make any mistake, or you are welcome to correct me, because I'm studying Tibetan Buddhism, because I'm from a Theravada Buddhist tradition. So to begin, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. We call him His Holiness the Dalai Lama because he's such a sacred figure in the Tibetan Buddhism and Tibet culture. And His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, he's a spiritual leader of the Tibetan people. Previously, he was a temporal leader as well, the political leader of Tibet. Presently, after 2011, he decided that he remains the spiritual leader of Tibetan people. So, in addition to serving as the religious leader of the Tibet people, the Dalai Lama represents the historical and spiritual sovereignty of Tibet. So, the 14th Dalai Lama was born on the 6th of July, 1935 in Taskar in Amdo. When the boy was about 2 years old, he was identified as the reincarnation of the previous Dalai Lama, the 30th Dalai Lama, Thupten Gyatso. So as per the Tulku system, Venerable Papaliavel Narada Thero explained in detail about the Tulku system. I'm not going into detail about the system in my presentation, but I will be mentioning about the system here and there because it's needed for this presentation. So as per the said system, the enlightened people who are revered as bodhisattvas, they volitionally choose to be reborn, not for the benefit of themselves, but for the benefit of others, the sentient beings. So they will be reborn again and again, as the Venerable Papaliavel Narada Thero said, until the last person on this earth is attained the enlightenment. These bodhisattvas will be reincarnated and reborn. In fact, in Tibetan Buddhism, Tibetans believe that the present Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, we venerate him as the living bodhisattva. He is a reincarnation of the Avalokitesvara bodhisattva. So Tibetans revere him in that way. So for Theravada Buddhist, Avalokitesvara is not a very familiar term, but for Tibetan Buddhists, of course. And so the Tulku tradition has been in existence in Tibet for numerous centuries to ensure the spiritual continuity. As well as the socio-political stability. It is not only to ensure the spirituality or the spiritual continuity, but also, most importantly, to continue the socio-political stability in Tibet. On the contrary, presently, after 1959, the Chinese government has been involved in exerting authority over this process by institutionalizing the legal process for reincarnation. The 2007 State Religious Affairs Bureau Order Number 5, you may be very familiar with this, the management measures for reincarnation of living Buddhas in Tibet Buddhism, we call it MMR, mandates government approval for all reincarnations. This action strictly restricts the freedom of spirituality, freedom of spiritual practice. And also, it restricts the religious sanctity of the process of reincarnation, as well as to threaten the future autonomy of the Tibetan Buddhism as a living tradition, However, the 14th Dalai Lama has reiterated that the decision of his reincarnation lies solely in his hands. His Tibetan people, the people of Tibetan diaspora, and his monastics. It doesn't lie in the hands of an outside force like China. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama has clearly mentioned it. Recently, I attended his 90th birthday celebration in the Dharamshala. On July 2nd, the Dalai Lama said that, I will reincarnate. My reincarnation is my own thing, and it belongs to me. It belongs to my people in Tibet. It belongs to my lamas, my monastics, not to any political authority, not to any other country. He clearly said that. He will reincarnate, that is, he will choose to reincarnate, because I remember in 2011 he said, I'm not sure about whether I will be reincarnating or not, because of the extreme pressure exerted by the Chinese government. His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, I'm not sure whether I'm going to reincarnate or not. It lies in the hands of my people. Let them decide. And he also said that maybe when I'm about 90, I will consult the high lamas, highly spiritual lamas in our tradition, and I will decide whether I will reincarnate or not. He wasn't sure in 2011 whether he will reincarnate or not, but in 2025, he is pretty sure, he's very sure that he will reincarnate. But there's another thing, that he will not reincarnate in Chinese-controlled Tibet. He has made sure that it will be definitely outside of Chinese-controlled Tibet. When we were schooling, we remember there was a country called, of course, no, but in history there was a country called Tibet, but there's no country now. It's just a nation. It's a country in exile. These Buddhist monks are Tibetans. They are proud to call themselves Tibetans, but they are in fact not Tibetans, because they are the Tibetans in exile. Right. So, yes.
You have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is very, it takes a little time to speak about it. So yes, within 5 minutes I will try to complete this. So as per the Tulku system in Tibetan Buddhism, the lamas are appointed through Tulku system. As the Venerable said, that the lamas are selected in different ways. Sometimes the child himself during his childhood declared that he's a Dalai Lama or Panchen Lama. And the high lamas will sometimes identify a boy as the Dalai Lama, the previous Dalai Lama's reincarnation. This is according to the Tulku system. So it is often through divination. So do you know the meaning of the Dalai Lama? It is not a Tibetan term. I have never come across that term in Tibetan language. It derives from Mongolian, am I right? The Tibetan monks? Yes, it's a Mongolian term, the meaning of which is the ocean of wisdom. The first Dalai Lama was, in this Tulku tradition of Dalai Lama, the first person was the Dalai Lama. The presently living Dalai Lama is the 14th one. The first one was the Gedun Drupa, who was born in 1931, and he was ordained in 1411. And in 17th century, there was a very successful Dalai Lama we find in the lineage of Dalai Lamas. There have been 14 Dalai Lamas up to now, and the fifth Dalai Lama defeated the Mongolian invaded and unified the Tibet and formed the government by effectively merging the religious and political powers. So this was the fifth Dalai Lama. And there is another Dalai Lama, the 13th Dalai Lama, that was Thubten Gyatso. He lived from 1876 to 1933, and he has showed a great political acumen as well. He brought modern technologies into Tibetan military, education, and administrative systems. The 13th Dalai Lama redeclared Tibetan independence after the fall of Qin dynasty. So for many centuries, the Dalai Lamas in Tibet have played a vital role in their cultural continuity, spiritual and cultural continuity, as well as a political sovereignty. The problem now is that the Chinese government intervention after the invasion, China, as every one of you know, that China invaded Tibet, and that was in 1959. The Dalai Lama had to flee Tibet, and now he is living in exile in India, in Dharamshala. So Dalai Lama no more lives in Tibet. So I will, since I don't have much time, I will conclude, but I don't think there's a conclusion to the thing that I'm talking about. Is there a conclusion? I don't think there's no conclusion, because you Tibetans, we are always supporting you, and because we love His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So since I don't have any conclusion, you have to choose you have to choose what you are going to do. Either you have to continue in exile. This Tibetan Buddhism or Dalai Lama will have to continue in exile. Or China will appoint a Dalai Lama, like the China has already appointed a Panchen Lama. Many Tibetans call him a fake Panchen Dalai Lama, fake Panchen Lama. I'm sorry to say that. So on the demise of the 14th Dalai Lama, China will either appoint a fake Dalai Lama, a 15th fake Dalai Lama. So that is another conclusion. And so the Dalai Lama had to completely, as he has already done, renounce his political authority over Tibet, as it has happened, because now it is the Tibetan government in exile. The central Tibetan administration is taking care of the political side of the country. Dalai Lama is the spiritual head. So either they have to do that. So democratically appointed leaders will rule the Tibetan government in exile, and the Dalai Lama will remain their spiritual leader. Also, and the fourth one is, in conclusion, the Dalai Lama can remain as the spiritual legacy and global influencer. He has also received the Global Nobel Peace Prize, the 14th Dalai Lama. So, and he has many millions of followers across the globe, despite religion. So he's a global icon. Either he has remained that.